it without you. Well, quite honestly, my family was very skeptical, and so they kind of like, yeah, why? We'll just let her do her little thing here and we'll watch her fall. Well, they don't know how determined I am. So Rita and I started working together. But the very first thing that she told me was, you're never going to be able to do this unless you start your day with Christ. There's a concept I never thought of. I had never thought of that before. I just get up in my day and I just do my own thing every day. And if it was good, it was good. If it wasn't, it wasn't. It didn't even occur to me to ask Jesus to help me out. What a dummy. So we would begin every day and she'd get out the Bible. Another thing I had never read was the Bible. Isn't that terrible? I had never read the Bible. I'm 32 years old and I had never read the Bible. And she's thinking, oh my goodness, we really have our work cut out. Well, we started reading and she would pull different scriptures each day and I looked so forward to that. It only took us maybe 10 minutes every day, but we would start that day in prayer and she would teach me a verse out of the Bible. It was wonderful. It was the best part of quitting my job because I'd never done that, and it gave me so much inspiration. Well, then we had a little fast forward here because we don't have all night to tell you this whole story, but Rita had been diagnosed with breast cancer at 36. And as I told you before, she said she knew she was dying. And she had a mission before she was gone. And she didn't want to go without fulfilling that mission, and she knew that was to make sure that I knew Christ. So she gave me her 18-year-old son. And she would bring him to the hospital or to the office when she was unavailable, when she was too sick to be able to teach me. She would send in Stephen. She knew she had a mission. And this poor little 18-year-old kid, I'm sure, is thinking, gosh darn, my mom has really gone over the deep end now. But you know what? He did it. Today he's a minister in Africa. He's awesome. And I am so grateful to him for doing that, because I saw an 18-year-old boy thinking, if he can do that, why haven't I done that before? And then I realized it was simply because nobody had ever showed me. Nobody had ever taught me. No one in my family had ever really talked about God except for my grandmother. Well, Rita passed away 8 months after I met her. I was devastated. I thought, oh my gosh, now what am I going to do? I quit my job, and all that negative stuff started rolling back on me again. And then all of a sudden I would hear her say, honey, remember, we can do all things with Christ who strengthens us. Philippians 4:13. It will never leave my brain. You don't know how many times I have had to repeat that to myself on days when I thought there is no way that I can do what this woman has asked me to do. And I'd have to go in my broom closet and I'd be in there going, okay, God, this person out here, they need my help. I have no idea what size breast form she needs. I have no idea what size bra, the wigs. Oh my gosh, that was a whole nother thing. But I'd go in that closet, and I promise you, when I came out of that closet, miraculously the right wig was sitting on the shelf waiting for that woman, or the right breast form, the right bra. It would just kind of appear in my hand, I promise you. And that was Rita's way of telling me, He is with you and He is sending you the people that you need. All you have to do is show up every day. Well, as I got better and better at this, we ended up with 3 locations, one in Kentucky, one in Ohio, and one in Indiana. And I just would marvel every day. And my family, remember who I told you that thought I was nuts and wanted to lock me in the straitjacket? Well, my dad started coming to help remodel my stores. My mom came to be my secretary. My sister-in-law came to help out. It was amazing. My brother, for a while, came to be my photographer because I was sent people, women. I had a background in doing makeup, and so I would have women that would be coming for makeup who were bruised and scarred or had deformities of some sort, and they were coming to have help to cover those misfortunes. Well, we needed before and after pictures, and I'm not very technically oriented, so I had my brother do it for me. And all of a sudden, one day when I look back and I thought, wow, it has been 5 years. Rita had been gone for 5 years, but her message and her mission from God to me was carrying on. We ended up serving over 10,000 people in 10 years. But it gets really good. Because remember I told you I was a single parent and I knew nothing about cancer? Okay. Well, God kept remembering that I was a single parent down here. I'd remind him every now and then. I have these boys that I got to raise, and I really don't want to do this on my own forever. And I had told Rita, for some reason, out of my mouth before she died, I said, Rita, I'm going to keep this business going for 10 years. I had no idea why I said that. I knew nothing about the business. Quite honestly, I didn't think I'd last a year, and neither did my family. 10 years later, I was president of the American Cancer Society, and my husband signed up as a volunteer. Well, he wasn't my husband at the time. Let me backtrack. He signed up as a volunteer and became my husband a year later. And I just had to marvel. It was like, wow, God, she did know what she was talking about. Because yes, he sent the people that I needed to, that he wanted to have taken care of. People that were struggling, especially women with breast cancer who were struggling. Many, many, many of those women, though, went on to do wonderful things, which is why I wrote my book. They so inspired me by their strength and their commitment, and just seeing them day after day after day doing and doing. I'm thinking, wow, thank you, God, for putting me in this position to see how life-giving it was over here to see new babies be born. And over here, in a world where people think it's all about death, it isn't. It's about life over here. Wow, what another concept. And then my husband, the trump card was that he was a cancer physician. Even better, because now he could teach me a lot more things to help these patients. Well, little did I know that my husband and I would end up moving to Wisconsin, because that's where he's from. I think he had it planned the whole time. I'm from Kentucky, can you tell? But he and his parents were still up there, and they were getting older, and he was asked to come back, so we did. And our children are everywhere. As you said, I had my boys, which were grown and out of the house. My husband had 4 children. They're also grown and out of the house, and in China and all these other places, so it didn't really matter where we lived. But while I was here in Cincinnati, in northern Kentucky, people would say, gosh, Gail, you should write a book about that business. You should write a book. And I kept hearing that for years. And I'm thinking, there is no way. I am not a book writer. That's just no way. But then that little voice of God, remember the one we talk about, that we hear things that he says, do this, do that, and we say, oh no, that's not us, we can't do it. And quickly I caught myself, because 10 years after running the business and 10,000 patients later, it was like, oh my God, do you really want me to write a book? No way. Well, when we moved to Wisconsin, I thought I was out of the deal. Nobody up there knew me. Why write a book? Who cares now? I'm gone. It's gone. So I get up to Wisconsin in 1 week after we moved to Wisconsin, where I'm thinking I'm free. I don't have to worry about that. And I wasn't ever going to deal with things that had to do with cancer anymore, because I did it for 10 years and my husband is still doing it. I walk out of the gym where I'm supposed to be losing weight. That was 5 years ago, and you can tell I still haven't done it. I'm walking out of the gym, and this lady had this really beautiful outfit on, and I said, gosh, where did you get that at? I said, I'm new to this area, and I'd love to know where you were shopping. We talked for a minute, and I don't even remember the name of the store now, because what stuck with me was I asked her what she did. What do you think she said? No. She said, I help people finish their books. I promise you. I swear to you. I almost passed out in the hallway, because I know that calling now. I know how it goes. So, okay, all right, Lord. On the way home, I said, do you really want me to do this? Because you know I don't know anything about writing. I don't. But he said, that's exactly why I want you to do it. So that very day, I lit a candle, I said a prayer, and because I'm not a writer and I knew I could take a shortcut, I got my husband's dictaphone, and I started talking different stories. It was like, what do you want me to say, God? What do you want me to say? 11 hours and a very sore throat later,